And I used to have this mental illness where I thought logical arguments would change people's mind.
Hey y'all, it's Beck the Feminist Lawyer. This is my area. For those of you who don't know, I do conflict management for a living. I am co-owner of Springboard Peace Building, which is a conflict management firm, and my primary area right now is executive cognitive risk advisement, but I also do mediations and just general conflict management for private clients. And this is something that blew my mind when I was learning it. Okay, I don't have the study in front of me, and I can drop it in the comments when I find it, but I believe it was an Emory University study where they did it under MRI, and they showed sort of the activations of different parts of the brain when political based statements were read to certain people. So what they did is they screened like, okay, you're a lefty, so I'm going to put you over there. You're a fascist, so I'm going to put you over there. And so they started off under MRI, reading them statements that agreed with their worldview. So they read the lefty statements, things like, people don't deserve to die of cancer because they're poor. Stuff like that. And then, to the right wing people, it's like, if you immigrated here and could not afford the legal process to become a legal immigrant, then you deserve to be dropped off in a country you've never been to. Anyway, that wasn't the point. But the point is, they read the affirming statements first, and then they studied sort of the baseline, what was going on in the brain when they heard all of the affirming statements. And then they read the disaffirming statements. They read the contrary statements to these people and saw what parts of the brain were lit up during hearing something that was contrary to what they believed. And what they were able to discover is that when faced with an argument, even if the argument makes sense, when faced with an argument that is contrary to your worldview or to whatever idea you already have, whatever conclusions you've come to based on the data you have, when something challenges that, when faced with something that challenges it, your brain gets you ready for a fight by flooding you with all of these feel-good chemicals. It's ready to dull the pain of being challenged. So we are literally getting rewarded for fighting by our brains. So especially when you're dealing with somebody who's got, a shortage in dopamine or serotonin, who's got chemical imbalances in their head, and that, is often people with mental illness that have imbalanced brain chemicals, that's even like a bigger motivating factor. So sort of the more unbalanced you are, the more likely you are to dig in and fight, even if you know you're wrong, because you're getting rewarded so heavily with all of those chemicals just for fighting that listening feels way worse. It feels wrong. And then a lot of people sort of mistake that for conscience or divine inspiration, or, like, I physically felt so good making this point, and so it must be the right thing because I felt so good doing it. But that's actually your brain getting ready for you to get your, mental or physical ass handed to you. Something's challenging you, get ready to fight. Here's all the feel-good chemicals so you don't feel the pain of the fight. And it makes people addicted to fighting. It makes people addicted to drama. If they are not getting their chemicals addressed in some other way, like workouts or good diet or medication or whatever treatments they need, then, the fighting does it for them. So that's why logic doesn't work on most people, but particularly on people with mental illnesses or chemical imbalances in some way, because they're getting all of that balance and all of that feel good and all of that moment by digging in and fighting even when they know they're wrong. And that's often why you see people going out and just being inflammatory for no reason. The people who put the Calvin stickers, the really trashy stickers of Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes, like peeing on something. People who are just like pick fights, it's because they have chemical imbalances and they're trying to get that hit. It's like a drug. And that's why they do it. And it's way worse if the person is super unbalanced or rather unintelligent. Because remember, Aristotle said that the mark of an educated mind is one that is able to entertain an idea without accepting it. And the folks that I'm talking about that have this strongest reaction to being addicted to fighting, they literally accepting an idea other than one that they already have feels threatening or depressing or bad. And the only way that they feel good is for fighting for what they already believe to be right. So they shut themselves off to any kind of learning. And sometimes you just gotta let those people feel the consequences of their assholery. You want to be like that? You ain't hanging out with me. You want to fight on all the time and like hold on to hate and like you be awful? You can do it somewhere else because it ain't gonna be around me. Because they keep getting rewarded for doing it by their own brains. Weird, right?